Now I'm going to show you how to find regulations on Westlaw Next. So once you get to Westlaw Next and you get to this screen, you need to go to Regulations. And once you're at the regulations, you can choose either federal or state. If you choose federal, the Code of Federal Regulations, all of the titles appear. There are 50 titles today. And you also get links here that are helpful. Let's say you wanted to search the CFR index, you would click on this, and then you would be able to search just in the index. But I have to tell you the truth. This index isn't that good. So very often you can't find the term you're looking for in the index. And you'll have to go back and search just the CFR. To show you the structure of the CFR, I'm going to go to 45 CFR Section 46.303. And this is a definition section. And here you can see we're in the Code of Federal Regulations, and we're in Title 45, which is Public Welfare. Subtitle A, Department of Health and Human Services. Subchapter A, General Administration. Part 46, very often you do have to cite to a part, so it's good to know about them. Protection of Human Subjects. Subpart C, and then we get to, these are the sections. The other handy tool that you will always want to use when you are in Westlaw Next in a resource is the table of contents. And you want to look here because you want to find out where you are in the code itself. And you might find a different section that's more appropriate for what you're looking for the question you're trying to answer. Or you might find a different subpart that's more closely aligned with what you're looking for. Still have notes of decisions, citing references, context and analysis, and history. But let's look down at the bottom of this. Remember, in regulations, the source tells you the Federal Register source, and the authority tells you the statutory authority. So here there are two statutes that are authority. If you wanted to check on any of these Federal Register citations, you could just click on those links. Sometimes the links are a bit odd, the way they index them. See these 01s afterwards, and we have two things. So when people are citing the Federal Register from Westlaw Next, they have these dash numbers after them very often, especially if you've taken the link and used the citation, especially if you have used a citation link from Westlaw Next itself. You'll get these things, and those are not part of the citation. So I'm going to take you to another resource, and this is a great resource. And it's called Hein Online, and you get to it by clicking on the link on the library homepage. And you click on this link rather than just go heinonline.com, because this has a proxy server, and that helps you when we have a proprietary resource get into it. When you get to Hein, this is what it looks like. And you're looking now for the Federal Register Library. You see, all these are libraries, so there's a lot of material here. And we have a lot of features. You can search, you can do a citation navigator, whatever. So I'm going to put this citation in for Find It from 1978. And the page I want is 53652. And here it is. Now take a look at this. The Federal Register is 3 columns. It's on newspaper print, so it's not going to last very long. And this is what you get. So the title, the subtitle, the part, and then sort of a heading for it. You find out the agency and the action. This is a final rule. It could say a proposed rule, or it could say an interim final rule. And then you get a summary, when it becomes effective, who you can contact, blah, blah, blah. And then they talk about the response to public comments and how that influenced the final rule. And this information is not included in the CFR. This is only found in the Federal Register. The part you find in the CFR itself would be the regulations themselves without the commentary. So sometimes it's very important to know how to get back to this commentary that comes before the final rule, because it sometimes can help your client, or it could help you understand the law a little better. Regulations.gov is your way of participating in the regulatory process. This is where you go when you want to make a comment on a proposed rule or a final rule or anything. And it's quite easy. You don't have to do it online, but it makes it very speedy. Let's go back to Westlaw next for a minute and look for administrative decisions. They're found on that same browse all content when you first log in. And so you can get federal agency decisions, or you can get state ones. So let's have a look and see what state agency decisions they have on Westlaw Next for us in Hawaii. So not too many, only a few. Just remember that, and when you can't find an agency decision, you have to remember to go to that agency's website in Hawaii. You might even have to do that at the federal level.
There's one other resource I need to tell you about, and that is one that the federal government puts up itself, and it's the Cfr. We use this all the time, even though it's not an official publication. It's actually done quite well. We just can't cite to it. From here, you can go into and look at, you can browse through the various titles in the code, or you can do Boolean or proximity search. The most important thing maybe could be this agency list. If you click on that link, you go to a list of the agencies and what part of the CFR they're in. And one other thing I want to draw your attention to is incorporation by reference. When the material that an agency wants to put into the Federal Register is rather lengthy, the CFR will allow it to be incorporated by reference, but when you go to get it, you need to know where you can go to get it. And these are places that have incorporation by reference, and they will tell you where you can get the information. A very, very useful tool is the government manual. You can find out so much information about, or just anything about the government in general. I highly recommend it, and it's at usgovernmentmanual.gov. You can Google it, or you can just put that in.